Hello, James here. I heard, I'm going to take you to my main video, but this is to some like, um, people like King Richz and some people over in England who have a kind of don't know the history about Black Americans and what it's like to be in interrelationship. So I'm going to show you this video. Then I'm going to show you a video out of England. But I'm going to show you the history of interracial couples. Here it is.
King Richz was against the law. However, in the 17th century in colonial Virginia, Africans and English could be allies, lovers, parents, and married. That is until the Virginia legislature convened in 1705.
There will be order in the House of Burgesses. Order in the House.
We landowning gentlemen of the crown cannot afford another rebellion.
We must divide the poor. We must divide the poor.
We must separate the race.
Separate the races. African, English, Scotch, Indian, Irish. We must break the alliance between the poor. All in favor? Aye. All opposing? Measure passes.
We are no longer allowed to marry. We are no longer allowed to start a family. We are no longer allowed. We say aloud. Should we stay inside?
Fair use copyright 1976. Educational purpose only.
We are no longer allowed to carry a child. We are no longer allowed to exchange vows. We are no longer allowed. I am her father. Are you alright? And you are my wife. This isn't right. They're not taking our daughter. Let them try. That's on my life. Be it enacted. Be it enacted. No Negro. No Negro. No mulatto. No mulatto. No Indian. No Indian. Be it enacted. 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 No minister. Be it enacted. Fair hereafter marriage. No. Be it enacted. No, I won't let you do this. Shall hereafter. It's not fair. The Negro or mulatto. Be it enacted. All Negro, mulatto, Indian slaves. That all children of Negroes, mulattoes, and slaves will be slaves. I die. Be it enacted. If any master kills a slave, that master shall be free of all punishment, as if such an accident never happened. Be it enacted. My children will be forbidden to read, to write, to vote, to marry, to kill, to testify, and destroy. Be it enacted. My child will be bought and sold. Be it enacted. My child will labor until death because of the color of her skin. To dismember. To kill. Be it enacted. Destroy. My husband will be whipped, branded, maimed. Be it enacted. Be
Okay, just to give you a brief introduction of what was like in America for interracial couples, and I'm dedicating this to the people that was on Pearl's panel, and you this is what when Nick Fuentes, this was kind of mindset he came and Pearl them came from in America, because obviously you guys don't know over in England what is he was trying to tell you, and then he turned around and insult from what, and I'm gonna show the video where he insults your girlfriend, but. This is dedicated to him. This ain't dedicated to Pearl. This is dedicated to them two Sambos over there in England. Because I want to show you something. Okay. I'm going to show you. Because it wasn't... You think that y'all was exclusive out of it. They think that some people thought they were exclusive. They had to pass a law in 1967, 11 versus Virginia, for this couple to get together. 1967, not 1947, not 1957, for an interracial couple to come together. And so people like Pearl, bringing on someone like Nick Fuentes, who is a white nationalist, this is what they're opposed to. And then he turned around and insult the woman that works with y'all on the panel. See, this is how we get down. This is how the races of people. And then what they would do if they find out that a white woman in America back at that time, they would burn her house down, and they would take the black guy, and they would lynch him. Then they would cut off his scrotum. Because maybe some of you over in England don't understand racism too well, like King Richz. But this is what happened. So, because some people, they really don't understand what this really was about. And what was the severity if you got caught in an interracial relationships, even though that it was a history of it, you would literally be put to death in certain places. And so they had to kind of hide it, and they made it outlaw. But before it was no big deal. So here's a museum. Because sometimes you got to educate people. Laws that ban mixed marriages. And this is out of Ferris State University. They said the laws that ban mixed marriages May 20. This is back in 2010. Misogynist in history. And maybe I can see the letter. But and so this is what brought up over here the Ku Klux Klan. During the 1920s, there was a rekindling of groups like the KKK, Ku Klux Klan, that intolerance was manifested in other ways. In 1924, Virginia law passed whites from marrying anyone with a single drop of Negroid blood. This is in America. This was a law in 1924. 1924. Okay, Virginia was not unique. Whites and blacks by this time was illegally in 38 states to have an interracial marriage. And you marry in an interracial relationship, you were breaking the law in America, and it could be serious consequences for you. It was really serious consequences. And I'm just educating because maybe some people in England don't know how way American blacks is and what people don't understand. You were literally put to death over here if you was caught in the past and during those times with an interracial relationship. And then the very people you bring to your studio, some will give you a little brief background on their maybe their interpretation, because according to their history of relationships in England, this is for copyright 1976 for education purpose only. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but this happened over in England.
About it. About it. Soon after arriving, even mining started again. The mutiny, as it was called, was crushed. But the way the British viewed non-white people changed forever.
After the mutiny, Asians and Africans would have their own separate development, do their own thing. You wouldn't try and turn them into Europeans. So that distance, that difference, was the crucial thing. Over time, that really worked itself into the fabric of empire and ended up in an attitude of domination and superiority.
Central to the empire's new governing philosophy was one simple rule. Don't sleep with the natives.
Sex reduces everyone to equality. If you have sex with someone, you can't pretend to be their master or their mistress in quite the way that you can. If you don't, it's too subversive. It causes too many difficulties.
But the very act of forbidding interracial love only served to make it more enticing.
At the same time, these others exert a powerful fascination. Now that becomes the area in which fantasy flourishes. Our whole realm of fantasy connected with the figure of the exotic, the oriental, the negro.
Increasingly, ordinary Victorian couples were using racial fantasies to spice up their sex lives. In 1854, parlour-maid Hannah Chadwick met Arthur Mundy, an outwardly respectable middle-class lawyer. They fell in love, married secretly, and lived together, although never openly as husband and wife. But there was more going on than meets the eye. Behind the curtains of London's Six-Fig Tree Court, they shared an intense fantasy life built around elaborate, racially charged sex games. The Victorians were not as vanilla as they're made out to be.
A lot of them seem to have included, shall we say, role-playing, and also, I think, things to do with dominance and submission. So, for example, we see Mundy, who was an extremely keen photographer, photographed Hannah dressed up as an upper-middle-class lady, as a milkmaid, complete with sort of churn and bonnet, stripped to the waist and blacked up as some kind of a slave, wearing a leather thong around her wrist and a leather collar around her neck.
Slavery had ended by 1838, but it left traces in the society in terms of imagery of sadomasochism. They're playing out what used to be real and brutal and cruel and barbaric in the plantation, but they're doing it without the attendant reality.
This come out of this is out of England.
Not being translated into real action in terms of sort of racial superiority and inferiority. So why not? Why not?
Luckily for us, Arthur and Hannah kept diaries of what they got up to. Their games revealed just how central interracial sex had become in the erotic imagination of their day. Coming home at 2:30, I went down into the kitchen, and there I found my Hannah in her dirt, looking like a chimney sweep. "I'm blacking myself, Massa," said she, and still she looked noble, even in rags, in dirt, in the kitchen. He looked at her, a Juno carved in coal, with lustrous eyes, a firm, devoted soul, goddess within, magnificent and brave, yet outwardly a negress and a slave.
One of Hannah's terms for Arthur was massa, and if we put this with the game of blacking up, the game of wearing a leather thong or a leather collar, you can imagine that Hannah and Arthur are playing out an erotic relationship in dominance and draw on their differences as man-woman, as employer-employee, but also a fantasy which is a racial fantasy of racialized slavery.
In her later years, Hannah moved away to a country cottage where she lived into her 70s. The parlour was reserved solely for Arthur's visits. It must have been spotlessly clean.
I would imagine that in parts of Britain today where people of colour are not visible, fantasies probably still exist, and there are probably all kinds of interesting games going on in suburbia. But they could never be as exciting as in the Victorian period, because that initial excitement of discovering the new world and the new bodies of the new world, that has not gone. I think the Victorians had it good in terms of the facility that they had to enact their sexual desires.
For growing numbers of white Britons, fantasies about hot interracial sex only made them want the real thing. To do that, they had to travel abroad, where a whole new world of erotic possibility was opening up. The empire was moving into Africa. For many of the British colonial officers posted there, the temptation was going to prove too much. By the end of the 19th century, Britain was taking over large swathes of Africa, including today's Zimbabwe, Kenya, and Uganda. The carve-up had a side benefit. Interracial desire could at last become a reality. For some of Britain's colonial elite, a posting to some far-flung dominion might not be quite so hellish after all. You could almost think of it as a sex safari.
It's almost like going to Mars, to different planets, and finding out to your astonishment and delight that the people were not just naked, but that they seemed to be welcoming at a sexual level, and more than that, you had power over them. It was a new world of sexual adventure.
Power over them?
They knew they shouldn't, but they did. Typical of the new breed of administrator was Richard Meinertzhagen, a 24-year-old British officer who arrived in the East Africa Protectorate, now Kenya, in 1902. Brought up a strict Christian, he believed in sexual restraint. He'd taken on board the Empire's cardinal rule, no sex with the natives. However, Meinertzhagen was shocked to discover that the taboo was being broken extensively.
Richard Meinertzhagen discovers that all his brother officers appear to have African mistresses. There's definitely sexual issues going on. And Meinertzhagen writes about these in his diaries and appears to be outraged by what he sees.
On my arrival here, I was amazed and shocked to find that they all brought their native women into the mess. The talk centers around sex and money, and is always connected with some type of pornography. Being very junior, I cannot do much about it. Soon after arriving, even Meinertzhagen came perilously close to succumbing to the temptation on offer when he witnessed an erotic tribal dance. For a reserved young Brit, it must have been quite an eye-opener. The natives gave us a treat. A large party of young men and girls danced together for many a hot hour. To my mind, the dance was the most suggestive and immoral.
I'm gonna stop it right here, but I'll give you a couple clips of it. Let me see.
In the Victorian period, for a white woman to sleep with a black man was not bad. It was just graceful. It betokened a kind of a profound and moral impurity.
This is over in England.
People would have been physically Today, women still go to strip shows and bawl and scream and try to pull off people's underpants and so on. In the Victorian period, there was no other forum for them to express their own inner desires. Going to the African shows was certainly one legitimate way that women could quietly enjoy the possibilities of illicit and forbidden sex, where they could see black bodies naked, glistening, feathered, and phallic. The sensation of the show.
Oh, damn. Hold on, sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm gonna get back to it. My tablet always does this. But yeah, the reason why I showed this, because I'm gonna show you why I showed the video, and I'm gonna take you to this one guy's what this guy had on it, what he said about this one woman who was dating a black guy over on Miss Pearl's, Just the Pearl's channel, Nick Fuentes. And I'm gonna show you the history and what the American when he sees that, and from the British, with the between the Britain and because maybe our British counterparts don't understand this. So sometimes you got to educate people because they just on what it was like. It was not like it wasn't acceptable. They would not only was it not acceptable in America, they were literally they made it an outlaw, and if they catch you doing it or whatever, you had in one of those states, they would really harm you. They would jump on you, and you lived through a Jim Crow era over here, where whites would have to go one way, blacks would have to go another way. See some of these people, and so when you see what we're talking about over here in America, to people, this is dedicated to people like him and those ones on Just Pearl's channel, because maybe they don't understand the whole concept of what we're saying over here. But I'm gonna take you to the video. Why I made that video. Let's go back. This is Mike TV, and I'm going to show you why I made this video. And I can only show a snippet of it. Probably I can't show too much of it because
Oh, Pearl, you effed up. You're a wimp. You're a wimp.
Oh.
Yeah, you.
It's over there in Los Angeles. The homeless people shitting in the streets as we speak.
Help yourself, and it's like I wish there was people talking about this. Like, if you do get reparations, what are you gonna do for it? What are you gonna do to keep your generational wealth going?
Yeah, so how would reparations work with the black slave owners? Would they owe reparations, or?
Okay, so there were black people that were fighting for the Confederacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
The free, because it wasn't about race. They got their slavery, and they're like, oh, their freedom, not their slavery. They got their freedom, and they're like, oh, I know how to run a plantation. Let me start one. And then they went and bought slaves, ran their own plantation, and then they're like, oh shit, you want to take this away? Oh no.
Challenged on the historical accuracy of roots, Haley said, I tried to give my people a myth to live by. This instrumental use of history, or...
So why is the white girl laughing? Why is that funny? What was just said about the transatlantic slave trade? What was just said about roots? What was just said that was funny? If she was discussing what happened in Germany with that one party, you know, who we won't talk about, if we talk about the German atrocities, I don't know if she would speak about it with a smile on her face like this. Guys, why does this Maya woman have a smile on on her face as she talks about our oppression, as our suffering is discussed. Why does she have the black girl looks totally confused. The black girl looks like this is her first time learning anything about foundational black American culture, but the white girl looks so happy. What is funny to her? I want to know.
Yeah, like there's writings from, I can't remember, it's someone who's like the statue they wanted taken down. And yeah, like you remember when they were tearing all, so this guy, he wrote that he didn't like slavery, but he felt responsible to take care of the slave. Like he didn't look at it as I own them. He looked at it as I inherited this.
Oh, there was white people that were like, hey, I don't really own you slaves who work for me for free. I inherited you, so I treat you. What is she talking about? This ignorant broad.
Yeah, so how would reparations work with the black slave owners? Would they owe reparations? Or because it wasn't about race. To them, they got their slavery and they're like, oh, their freedom, not slavery. They got their freedom and they're like, oh, I know how to run a plantation. Let me start one. And they went and bought slaves, ran their own plantation, and then they're like, oh shit, you want to take this away? Oh no. And then it was an institution, like globally. So they had black slaves.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Like, no, they didn't have it, but
they weren't loyal to them just because they had the same skin color.
Yeah, because we're not even 100% loyal to ourselves now. And
look what they do to Candace Owens.
My goodness. Okay.
Pearl has staff who are black. I mean, that's beside the point.
So for those just unaware of what's been going on, Pearl has recently come under fire for these particular comments.
I'm trying to get my Africans in America. My Africans. Oh gosh.
I don't know why you had to do that, like that little, rewind 3 times. Like, I mean, Brett, like, it sounds like you're trying to, push a narrative with that. I mean, Pearl is not the first person to bring white supremacists or racists onto a show. Do you know what I mean? I just think that she brought on a controversial person. Obviously, that was gonna bring around like a conversation. It was gonna get views. People are gonna want to hear what goes down. I think that this is not the first show that has brought white supremacists on. Do you get what I'm saying? So I mean, Oprah's done it. Jerry Springer's done it. A lot of other people with shows have done that thing. So
well, at first I was like, okay, I hope she's gonna hold herself.
I thought that it went on a bit long. I thought that it was
It was
a humiliation ritual, as a lot of people said. It was
know about it.
Listen, right, it was mid-live, and he done a reaction to it when he was on live.
I watched it.
He done a reaction, and there was nothing wrong with the reaction that he did.
No.
So how can you watch a reaction and have one view, and then watch the same reaction again and have a totally different view? That don't make no sense to me.
Well, no, he did say that he needs that Pearl needs to speak on it and be held accountable. He said that on the first one.
No, but there's no reason to throw under the bus.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Ladies and gentlemen, let me get a 1 in the chat if you can hear me loud, crisp, and clear. And let's get on with the content. We got some Sambo-ass Negroes from the UK. They got the nerve, they got the audacity to speak negatively about the reaction of foundational black Americans to this racist-ass broad from the Midwest and all the bullshit she had to say, laughing at our oppression.
Challenged on the historical accuracy of roots, Haley said, I tried to give my people a myth to live by. This instrumental use of history, or...
What is funny, Becky? What is funny? I don't understand. What is humorous about roots? What is humorous about the transatlantic slave trade? I wonder. You know what, guys? I'll say it now, this is all exclusive. I mean, I'm the only one who has this footage. This footage is over a year old. So when y'all are all outraged about what she said with Nick Fuentes, and when y'all accept her half-ass apology just know that this is her MO. She's been doing this for a long, long while. A long, 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 long while. And as a matter of fact, she even had the nerve to try to say that some slaves enjoyed slavery, that slavery wasn't that bad.
And I said slavery wasn't like that. Some of them had like good relationships with their owners, and you looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
They're in a position where they have this whole plantation. What do? They let them go free. What's going to happen? They're not self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Damn. So some slaves looked around and were like, this is a pretty good deal I got here. I'm happy with my life. Some slaves thought, oh, I don't want to be free because I don't know how to be so. What are you talking about, Barbecue Becky? And then she's going to say, she's going to try to defend her Mayo brothers and sisters and say that some slave owners had no choice. Some slave owners just inherited slaves and just wanted to protect the poor little slaves.
Yeah, like there's writings from, I can't remember, it's someone who's like the statue they wanted taken down. And yeah, like you remember when they were tearing off. So this guy, he wrote that he didn't like slavery, but he felt responsible to take care of the slave. Like he didn't look at it as I own them. He looked at it as I inherited.
Yeah.
Oh, there was white people that were like, hey, I don't really own you slaves who work for me for free. I inherited you, so I treat you. What is she talking about? This ignorant bra. Come on, y'all. I'm coming through with the exclusives. If y'all support the content, if y'all support the mission, drop something on Cash App, Colonial 2020, PayPal, Mr. Real Estate 916. This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. And after seeing this footage, y'all are like, what the hell? She said this too? Who would defend this? Who would possibly defend this? I know a few Sambo-ass token Negroes from the UK that would. King Richz, he calls himself. Alright, he need to take off that LA hat, because you ain't from here, boy. Where your grandma stay? In Brixton? She don't stay in Compton, my guy. You better take that hat off. Talking about, so what if the staff over there is black? Talking about, well, Pearl isn't the first one to have a racist on, so it's okay.
I mean, Pearl is not the first person to bring white supremacists or racists onto a show.
So that makes it okay. And it's not even just the fact that she brought him onto the show, it's what she said. It's the words that came out of her mouth. But he's gonna try to talk shit about MTR, who is a foundational black American. You're not King Richz, you're an African in the UK, but you're gonna talk shit about MTR and how he felt about the dumb, ignorant shit this woman said, and claim that MTR was pushing a narrative.
So for those just unaware of what's been going on, Pearl has recently come under fire for these particular comments.
I'm trying to get my Africans in America, my Africans. Oh gosh.
I don't know why you had to do that, like that little, rewind 3 times. Like, I mean, Brett, like it sounds like you're trying to, push a narrative with that.
Come on. Yes, MTR is trying to push a narrative. The narrative is Pearl is saying some dumbass shit and she needs to be held accountable. But let this tether baby from the UK try to talk about what us black Americans can say or can't say and how we should respond and yada yada yada. Talking about Oprah did it.
Do you know what I mean? I just think that she brought on a controversial person. Obviously that was gonna bring around like a conversation. It was gonna get views. People are gonna want to hear what goes down. I think that this is not the first show that has brought white supremacists on. Do you get what I'm saying? So I mean, Oprah's done it. Jerry Springer's done it. A lot of other people with shows have done that thing. So
they would chop it up with her.
Oprah did have racist white supremacists on her show, and guess what happened when they said some racist bullshit? She checked them on it.
Right.
She combated their ideas.
Right.
She didn't dog out her own kind. She didn't say quirks and stereotypes about her own people. But this ignorant ass Sambo from the UK got the nerve, got the audacity to be out here shucking and jiving for Massa. Why? Because Massa pays the bills. King Richz is nothing without Pearly Things. He's sitting in her studio. He's on her show. She cuts the checks to him. And same thing with that other, what's her name? Auntie Jenny or some shit like, some old Nigerian lady with gray hair who is also over here with Operation Protect Massa at all costs. talking about she's deleting comments. If you say anything negative against Pearl, she's going to delete the comment.
And for all those people that have been putting rude comments about Pearl and they're disappearing, it's me. I've been deleting them because it's not necessary.
Well, guess what? I had some rude comments to say the other day about Auntie. And I don't talk shit about people, let alone women, without saying it to their face. So I tried to join her show. I tried to cam up and join her show, but she was ending it. But still, I put something in her comments section and she read it. And she had a response from Mike TV. Take a look at what I put. I said straight up, this woman is biased. She's not biting the hand that pays her bills. Auntie is protecting massa. Auntie need that retirement money. So when Auntie read these remarks from Mike, what does she have to say? What does she have to say? Does she confirm that she's employed by Pearl? Does she deny it? Does she acknowledge the inherited bias that she has? Let's see what Auntie had to say, y'all. Come on, let's see what Auntie had to say.
Right, Mike TV. Do the cameras belong to me? Does this belong to me? Do you really think that I ain't got better things to do than to come and pay like you young YouTubers to go and sit down on social media and pay for a studio? No, Pearl pays for this, right? She don't pay for this, but she pays for all of this. So yes, if you want to say I work for Pearl, I work for Pearl. She pays for all of this, but she don't pay for this or this because you can't afford it.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
Come on, y'all, stop lying, stop lying, stop lying. If she cuts your fucking check, then she owns this, and she owns this. You are an internet social media personality on her podcast. She runs you, woman. And that's why you're protecting her. That's why you're caping for her. That's why you have the audacity to say, half-ass as it was, that her apology was a humiliation ritual. Oh, this poor little lily white girl. Oh, this poor little house on the prairie ass white girl. Oh my gosh, she didn't give an apology. She had to go through a humiliation ritual.
Well, that was at first I was like, I hope she's gonna hold herself.
I thought that it went on a bit long. I thought that it was
like
was
5
a
hours.
humiliation ritual, as a lot of people said.
Wow, I think you should mind your fucking business. I think you should stick to UK affairs and all that good stuff, because when it comes to what's happening on Turtle Island with the foundational Black Americans, you shouldn't have a fucking opinion. Neither you nor King Richz. Y'all should shut your mouth. But guess what? When you're paid to be a token black, when it's time to protect massa, you gotta take some bullets for massa. Come on now. Come on. And later on in the stream, I'm gonna drop the StreamYard link so you guys can come up and say your piece, but let's hear in full what these Sambo-ass Negroes had to say. And before we do that, let me run one more clip, because King Richz is the biggest coon of them all, because King Richz went on a tirade for over an hour about MTR's response. But Nick Fuentes called his bitch out, disrespected his woman to her face and him, and he didn't have a damn thing to say about Nick Fuentes. Did y'all know when Nick Fuentes talked to that Italian woman, and that Italian woman said, hey, us Italians don't claim you, and then Nick Fuentes said, what? Nick Fuentes said, the Italians don't claim you neither, you're dating a black guy. Did y'all know King Richz is that black guy? Oh, hold on. I think you missed it. I don't think you caught what I said. When Nick was on there talking shit to that Italian woman, saying, Italians don't claim you, you're with some black guy. This man, King Richz, is the black guy. King Richz is her boyfriend. So this man disrespected your bitch to her face. Disrespected you to your own bitch. And you ain't got a damn thing to say about it, but you want to talk about MTR.
Yeah, I am a little bit racist.
And the Italians, we do not claim you.
Oh, hey, the Italians don't claim you. You're the one dating a black guy.
King Richz is that black guy. And King Richz ain't have a damn thing to say. He didn't want no smoke with Nick. Nick can say whatever he wants to his bitch. It's cool. It's cool. That's how they get down in the UK. They come from a different cloth, apparently. But he got the nerve to critique MTR's response, y'all. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You should be talking about what Nick Fuentes said to your woman. That's what you should be talking about, my guy. That's what you should be talking about. But let's hear in length what this dumbass King Richz had to say. Let's check it out.
I'm not going to beat around the bush for this conversation, and I'm going to get straight to the point. Pearl, you f***ed up. You knowingly invited a white supremacist and a self-proclaimed racist onto a platform which is primarily supported by,
watch what he did,
at least initially, and produced by black people. This comes across as insensitive to downright nasty.
I don't know. I don't really agree with that, MTR. I don't agree with that because, I mean, Pearl is not the first person to bring white supremacists or racists onto a show.
So he's totally gonna skip over what Pearl said about black Americans and say that he disagrees because Pearl isn't the first. Come on now, at least make your arguments make sense. At least have better talking points.
I just don't agree with that. And the fact that Pearl has staff who are black, I mean, that, you know, that's beside the point. Do you know what I mean? I just think that...
He thinks it's beside the point. He thinks, y'all, if I employ predominantly Mexicans and y'all catch me slipping talking shit about Mexicans, then that's extra hypocritical. That's extra inflammatory.
Exactly.
Come on, it's a new level of low. So for him to be on a predominantly black-filled show ran by a white woman, white girl gets caught slipping, and he got to say, oh, well, the fact that most of us are black don't matter. Y'all, the ideology. This is how them black folks feel over in the UK. And I'm sorry, y'all, if y'all aren't familiar with my content. My channel used to be called Mr. Real Estate, and I used to react to a bunch of content. I used to also react to what some of these UK black people think about us black Americans. You see, I would react to Tariq Nasheed content. And y'all, I don't know if y'all know, but these UK blacks, they don't like us. These UK blacks talk a whole lot of shit about us. So for these UK blacks to defend this white girl, it's par for the course with them, y'all. You wouldn't believe some of the racist, crazy shit that these UK blacks have to say about us.
Why are they initially holding a map with black American children in the foster care? Why are there so many black men in prison?
Ma'am, why do you run from the question of why your people over there starving in mass to the point where you have to flee?
Your people flee Africa, go over to the UK, put on a bunch of cake soap, a bunch of skin lightening cream, try to get in with the white people, and now you up here sitting and caping for massa. I don't know if y'all know, but this is how them UK folks, them UK black folks think of us black Americans.
Listen, one second. There's no llamas in Africa. Llamas are found in Asia, you dumbass nigger. Instead of resorting to your...
Yes, these Africans will be blacker than us. Move to the UK, think they're holier than thou, and now they got the nerve to call us niggers when they're blacker than us. This is how those UK black Africans think. So don't be surprised that they cape in for massa.
Listen, one second. There's no llamas in Africa. Llamas are found in Asia, you dumbass nigger. Instead of resorting to your fourth grade, jokes, let's have a grown-up conversation. Alright, nigger?
No, you got your cousins over there in Los Angeles. The homeless people shitting in the streets as we speak.
Ma'am, homeless people do not represent the population. The homeless people are people who are mentally ill for the most part. If you see a foundational black American shitting, that's a mentally ill person on Skid Row. It's not a dude walking around as a lawyer who's taking the shit on the side of the road and then going to practice law like back in your homeland.
So don't be surprised if this is how these UK black folks get down. That's all I'm saying. You heard it here first.
Brought on a controversial person. Obviously, that was going to bring around like a conversation. It was going to get views. People are going to want to hear what goes down. I think that, this is not the first show that has brought white supremacists on. Do you get what I'm saying? So, I mean, Oprah's done it. Jerry Springer's done it. A lot of other people with shows have done that thing. So I think you may be exaggerating that particular point a little bit, but anyway.
And I want to be clear, it's not just inviting said person to the conversation that's upsetting, because conversations with people who don't agree with each other or don't agree with a particular position, if done in a healthy way, can promote civil discourse.
Okay.
But you're up
was to not only not defend the people who helped create the content on your platform, but to also push a narrative that is insensitive and damaging to those very same people. Pearl, you know that your staff is mostly black people, and I'm talking about from a production perspective as well as a talent perspective. You also know that the majority of your content...
Them UK blacks is built different, I'm telling y'all. When y'all see a UK black, when y'all hear a UK black, y'all might as well associate it with a fucking Uncle Ruckus. I'm telling y'all, them UK blacks is holy white on the inside.
Utilizes black people talking about black relationship issues. You could have had...
I'll say this from my own point of view. I've had my channel for many, many years before any of you even knew Just Pearly Things. Before I was working with her, I had a channel and I talked.
You had your channel for many, many years and you went nowhere and nobody heard of you until you hooked up with Just Pearly Things. She was your meal ticket, she put you on, she is the plug, and you ain't gonna go against the goddamn plug.
About, you know, racial issues and things of that nature, as well as, you know, the dating dynamics and, you know, men's self-improvement. So, you know, I just want to make that clear, because a lot of people, they're coming out and saying stuff along the lines of, oh yeah, you can't say nothing because Pearl's your boss and blah blah blah. I've always been
That's exactly true. That's exactly true. She cuts your check. You're not gonna talk. You ain't gonna give her no serious pushback. That's a conflict of interest. You don't want to fuck up the bag. We know this, but you're gonna sit up here and try to make excuse after an excuse. Talk all this shit about MTR and his response to being disrespected by this white woman. When Nick Fuentes came on that podcast and disrespected your bitch to her face, disrespected you to your bitch's face, and you didn't have a goddamn thing to say about it. Because once again, folks, when Nick said, us Italians disown you, you're dating a black guy, King Richz is the black guy. This is King Ritz's girlfriend that Nick Fuentes is speaking to.
Yeah, I am a little bit racist.
And the Italians, we do not claim you.
Oh, hey, the Italians don't claim you. You're the one dating the black guy.
Yeah, King Richz is that black guy. And he ain't have a goddamn thing to say. He ain't defend his woman. He ain't defend his own honor. King Richz is a baby back bitch as far as I'm concerned. King Richz need to take that LA off. That LA hat off for real, for real. Come on, y'all. You need to take that LA hat off for real, for real. You're doing us a disservice, my guy. You're doing us a real disservice.
Say what I want on my channel, and that is just being consistent and constant. So I just want to make that clear.
Black people sitting in the same room with this person in order to combat some of the hellacious things that were coming out of his mouth, or to have a different perspective that would have lent itself well to demonstrate the respect for the people that watch your content and that you employ. I don't think that your platform would be as big as what it is today if it wasn't for the essential utilization of black people, black relationship topics, and black talent. And the talent came from all over. When you include the likes of an Andrew Tate, all the way down to a Brittany Renner. And even from a content creator perspective, from me to a Melanie King, to a Sarah Garvey, to a King Richz, to an Auntie Jenny. So for those just unaware of what's been going on, Pearl has recently come under fire for these particular comments.
Come on, y'all, come on. And shout out to Shay Lavie. You do make a point. She brings on the most ratchetest of the UK blacks, too. She brings on the most ratchetest of the UK blacks, and they have an all-out minstrel show, y'all. She running a goddamn minstrel show. She is the equivalent to the fucking Jewish record executives exploiting the black community, y'all. She just doing it on YouTube. Come on.
I'm trying to get my Africans in America. My Africans. Oh gosh.
I don't know why you had to do that, like that little, you know, rewind 3 times. Like, I mean, Brett, like,
she just said my African. She spoke as to you. Oh my. hot, y'all. I'm getting hot. She literally spoke of you as fucking property, and you ain't got a goddamn thing to say about it. You gon' bitch and whine because of the fact that MTR ran the clip back 3 times, y'all. This man is gonna bitch and whine about the fact that MTR played it back 3 times in a goddamn row when she just called you her fucking property, my Africans. And you love being massa's property. You love being close to massa as long as you're close to the white people. Oh Lord, don't y'all know in the UK that racism shit is alive and well, and there's a lot of these sellout ass Africans in the UK who will do anything to get in close proximity of white folks who believe, just like Pearl, that maybe just maybe being a slave is preferable, is enjoyable.
When I said slavery wasn't like that, some of them had like good relationships with their owners, and he looked at me like I was crazy. They're in a position where they have this whole plantation. What do? They let them go free. What's going to happen? They're not self-sufficient.
Yeah. Oh man. These UK blacks is on a whole nother level. She just called you property, my guy. You're a token black. Like on South Park. You know the little black character who's literally called Token? You're a fucking token. How dare you call yourself a King Richard? King Richie. King Richz. You ain't a king, you a fucking serf to a white broad from the Midwest who moved to your country and paid y'all a couple of shillings to come and buck dance on her podcast.
These particular comments.
I'm trying to get my Africans in America. My Africans. Oh gosh.
I don't know why you had to do that, like that little, rewind 3 times. Like, I mean, Brett, like, it sounds like you're trying to, push a narrative with that, and I kind of feel like that's a bit unfair because you know Pearl personally. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you know her personally.
Pearl just dogged your ass out and called you her African, and you think it's not fair that he ran the clip back 3 times in a row. Oh my God, somebody get the baby violins out.
You've had conversations with her, you've got to know her, just as I've got to know her. You know she's not racist, bro. So, I think that, putting that little repeating little my Africans part, to me that's a bit distasteful, but
it's distasteful, y'all. How dare you, MTR? How dare you, MTR? Pearl flew you out to collaborate on some content, MTR. Y'all supposed to be business partners, MTR. Look, MTR, I don't bite the hand that feeds me, MTR. I don't go against massa, MTR. MTR, listen, MTR. I know that I'm a UK slave and you're an American slave, but see, in the UK, we have full fealty, we have full loyalty to massa, MTR, and you're going against massa. I don't know how you American blacks do it, but over here, you don't go against massa, MTR. How dare you play that 3 times in a row? I don't care that she said I'm her African. I don't care that she spoke of me as if I'm fucking cattle. You don't go against massa. Don't you see that she's pearly? Don't you see how pasty and pearly and white? MTR, what are you doing? Stay on code, MTR. You're supposed to be in Sambo like me, MTR. What are you talking about, my guy? What are you talking about? Meanwhile, Nick Fuentes came on there and disrespected your bitch to her face. Disrespected you to your bitch. And you didn't have a goddamn thing to say. If there's anybody new to the live stream, this woman that Nick is talking about, this woman that Nick is talking to, when he says, we Italians don't claim you, you're dating a black guy, this is King's female that Nick is talking to. King is that black guy.
Yeah, I am a little bit racist.
And the Italians, we do not claim you.
Hey, the Italians don't claim you. You're the one dating the black guy.
But he ain't have nothing to say about that. But he want to talk about what a foundational black American thinks of Pearl's racist, ignorant ass. And honestly, I wouldn't even truly say she's full on racist. I would just say at least bigoted, socially insensitive. I mean, clearly she's not too racist to where she's down with being in the proximity of blacks to exploit them and use them for financial gain. She's not too racist to where she can't be on a podcast with them. But guys, come on. This broad needs to stay in her lane, and y'all don't even know that she's been saying this shit for years. Most of y'all ain't even seen this footage.
England stopped slavery.
Yes, y'all. Yes, this just said that England stopped slavery. Hold up.
Stopped without England. They policed. They had no real incentive to stop it because they really didn't have that many slaves.
Gotcha.
And
I'm gonna run that back.
Stop
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Slavery wouldn't have been stopped without England.
Damn. Let Pearly just rewrite history, y'all. Slavery wouldn't have been stopped without England, y'all. England is Captain Save-A-Ho out here, y'all. England is benevolent, all powerful, just freeing all the slaves. Hey, step to the side, Abraham Lincoln. Step to the side, Abraham Lincoln. It's England that did it, y'all. Come on now. Come on. Oh, and don't forget about those black slave owners.
Yeah, so how would reparations work with the black slave owners? Would they owe reparations, or because it wasn't about race? They got their slavery, and they're like, oh, their freedom, not their slavery. They got their freedom, and they're like, oh, I know how to run a plantation. Let me start one. Then they went and bought slaves, ran their own plantation, and then they're like, oh shit, you want to take this away? Oh no.
I ain't got nothing to say after this. It's just. Oh my God.
Do you see how she dismisses our oppression? Do you see how she just, it's an institution globally. Slavery? Oh, no tidbit slavery, just no institution. What the fuck are you talking about, you ignorant bitch? And see, nobody's gonna give her the proper pushback. Hey, she's pulling up on all these small YouTube channels. She'll never pull up over here. She'll never be on a panel with Mike, because she know I ain't gonna play that shit. Talk about holding somebody accountable. Cite your sources, bitch. What slave is documented in history as being freed and then turns around and says, oh, I know about the business of slavery. Let me start my own plantation. Did y'all hear what the fuck she just said?
Yeah, so how would reparations work with the black slave owners? Would they owe reparations, or because it wasn't about race? They got their slavery, and they're like, oh, their freedom, not their slavery. They got their freedom, and they're like, oh, I know how to run a plantation. Let me start one. Then they went and bought slaves, ran their own plantation, and then they're like, oh shit, you want to take this away? Oh no.
She really wants us to believe that blacks that just got freed from the worst conditions of their fucking life turned around and said, you know what, let me get some sleeves and run this thing on my own. What are you talking about? And you know she can't cite her sources. You know she'll never pull up. You know she surrounds herself by these token blacks, so she feels comfortable to spout this stupid, ignorant ass shit, laughing at our oppression.
So they had black slaves.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
No, they didn't have it. But
they weren't loyal to them just because they had the same skin color.
Yeah, because we're not even 100% loyal to ourselves now. And
look what they do to Candace Owens.
My goodness. Okay.
Come on, y'all. Let Pearl rewrite the history books. She wants y'all to think that some of these white people had no choice but to be slave owners. She wants to convince us that some poor white people were just caught between a rock and a hard place, and they had no other option but to be slave owners.
I said slavery wasn't like that. Some of them had like good relationships with their owners, and you looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
They're in a position where they have this whole plantation. What do? They let them go free. What's going to happen? They're not self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Like there's writings from, I can't remember. It's someone who's like the statue they wanted taken down. And yeah. Like you remember when they were tearing all. So this guy he wrote that he didn't like slavery, but he felt responsible to take care of the slave. Like he didn't look at it as I own them. He looked at it as I inherited this.
Oh, there was white people that were like, hey, I don't really own you slaves who work for me for free. I inherited you, so I treat you. What is she talking about? This ignorant bra. Come on, y'all. Let her tell it. Let her tell it, y'all. They just inherited slaves, and, you know, I don't really own you, but I kind of own you. Like I don't really own you, but you got to do what I say and work from sun up to sundown, and if you don't, I'm going to whip you and maybe kill you. I mean, I don't own you. Let's just say I'm your manager, you know, enforcer, if you will. But I don't own you. Own's a strong word. I don't own you guys though. Okay, I just inherited you.
Yeah, like there's writings from, I can't remember. It's someone who's like the statue they wanted taken down. And yeah. Like you remember when they were tearing all. So this guy he And he wrote that he didn't like slavery, but he felt responsible to take.
This stuff is just ridiculous, man. This young woman, and the sad part about it is, I mean, it's a black woman she's talking this coded language with. Didn't I tell you there's some black people ain't really the Negro opinion that coincided with this? I mean, even if her people ever see this, they gotta be embarrassed as hell to sit up there and talk this coded language with a woman like Pearl. I mean, are you serious? And then sit around and turn around and talk like you were in agreement with it. Like, I mean, do you understand? And that's why I showed hopefully this video get up. I try not to show too much. Because there was some kind of graphic sexual scene in there. But you see what I'm saying? That's why he called it out. And I hope this get around show. Shout out to Mike TV. Because some people don't know the whole story. And let's see how many people is going to keep supporting that. Let's see. And this exposed her panel. The two people he exposed. King Richz and that woman. Auntie Mammy, whatever her name is. Auntie Jenny or whatever. I mean, it's like, she tried to justify it. I mean, that's just going to put a more rift between American blacks and British blacks. Because now we looking at it in a different tone. And you got some a white American woman going over to England doing some shit like that. Dismissing what our oppression and cattle slavery and things like that. Babies getting taking descendants of their babies and feeding them to alligators and stuff like that. And then the stupid black women once would do their own research. They would see that bull crap and come to some museums and talk to some people that were part of it and listen to some stories instead of just getting with some millennial person that don't have no clue, probably never been to a museum or nothing, never talked with a foundation of black American or other people that have been through that and are descendants of it. And it just so casually spoke about it, like it's just a walk in the park. And then these two fools gonna sit there and co-sign with that. I mean, and I hope anybody subscribed to King Richz, I hope you see this. This is what he is, making y'all look bad over it. So for real, man. And even that woman, whoever subscribed to that black woman, she made y'all look bad. Seriously. They have no clue. And I had to show an earlier clip of what they thought about interracial relationship in England and America. And what it was. And I ain't just showed you one. But I'm going to show you another later on during the 20th century, what they did to Greenwich, where once they want the descendants of the Caribbean people out of England after they fought the war, and they had relationships with families over there, with white women. This is I don't know if King Ritz's career had a Caribbean background or not, but that's what it was. Then they sent some of the Africans back to their homeland. So you just defended no pressure from the England side of it. Nice going, King Richz. I hope you're proud of yourself, defending a racist and that talks to your woman like that, belittle her, if that's your woman, or even if that's your friend. Like, wow, you just a big black buck to Nick, and he just buck broken you right in front. That's basically what Mike TV was saying. You just got buck broken by the riverside. All right then, guys. Till next time, y'all take care.